communication was an issue. Like, we had issues communicating here and there. We have to always fight for it. Like, it's like you have to beg to be communicated to, which wasn't right.
Women feeling change very quickly. So we as a man, we also have to adapt to it situation as such.
A failed relationship can be caused by lack of financial to back up the relationship, and not having the abilities for you to also make a spouse happy in terms of giving them surprises, in terms of like maybe Valentine's Day, Christmas celebrations and all that. So if you cannot do that, I think your partner will be disappointed in you, and that may cause a failed relationship.
It boils down to communication and knowing your partner very well and setting certain priorities right, letting the partner know, okay, this is what I don't want, this is what I want, like, your do's and don'ts.
I tried to initiate that communication with the guy, but it looks like he wasn't ready for it. So I just have to move on. We have to come to a certain understanding, and then we just have to move on.
Sometimes for the given money, but for maybe you go town, you see something very nice for support them. But if in friend they do give in girl, you go hard say like you go there plus you way you know they do anything give them.
Due to my past relationship, my failed relationship, it's about I never had much communication with them. So later on, me finding out, so I went back to find out what was the cause and that, but I couldn't get much information about because they were trying to distance themselves from me. So yeah.
I think that what keeps relationship going, I think, is communication. Yes, the ability for you to be able to communicate with your partner, I think, will play a bigger role in keeping the relationship.
You always have to think positive for your partner, even though he may or might be doing, or she or he might be doing something. But if you think positive, he also come to a realization that what I'm doing, maybe my woman or my man, is not like I shouldn't be treating that person that way. So he or she may come to a certain conclusion and then might stop.
Maybe you guys understand each other. Maybe he talk something where you know good. If he talk say, "Oh babe, sorry" or something, so say he go make peace, go reveal you up.
Before we got into a relationship, I made her understand this is the sort of person I am. So I'm not the person that want to be stressed and don't like purchasing most things. But like, she doesn't do it, so mostly I want to do those things to make her comfortable and do it. So sometimes she doesn't even like it. So that's the low downs of my relationship.
Excellent. Welcome back to the Springboard Hangout. This evening we are looking at love part 2, and today we are hanging out again with PG. And PG, we are looking at difficult relationships and then navigating your way back from failed ones. And we before we went on the voice pop this thing, we talked about what difficult relationships are, and then we even looked at the types, personality types, and what makes that lead to having that challenge. So listening to our people from the streets, what do you have to say about that?
Well, I think that most of them touched on communication, which indeed is very key.
Yep.
Everything has to be talked about. Everything has to be communicated.
You mean there's nothing that is off the communication list?
No. I mean, then again, when we talk about communication, it's not just spoken. So we have the verbal communication, the non-verbal communication will constitute a chunk of our communication. So sometimes it's not what you are saying, it's how you are saying it.
It's what you are not saying.
Exactly. How you are saying it, where you are saying it, when you are saying it, choosing all the right timing for it. We also have the written communication. We have, visual communication and all of that. But ultimately, we need to communicate. We need to communicate our commitment. There are people who are good people. There are some men, their wives are not happy with them. You engage the guys and they are good people, but they just can't express themselves. They can't express their frustration. They can't express the fact that they don't have money, they are broke. They can't express the fact that things that are happening around the relationship is not something that they like. They struggle. So, of course, nobody's a clairvoyance. We don't read anybody's mind. So if you are not communicating, I'm just assuming that you are not doing it. And sometimes it's the way we also communicate. And so all of that. But for you to be able to communicate and communicate effectively, there should also be some level of trust and some level of openness and transparency. The Bible says in the book of Genesis, it says that the man and the woman, they were both naked and not ashamed. A lady friend of mine said something that I found to be quite profound. She says, PG, I don't have a problem being naked with my man. But whatever he does with that information will determine whether I want to be naked with him again or not. And so if I tell you that this is my challenge, this is what I've done, I did something wrong, I did this, I want this and everything, and you weaponize it. The next time you bring it up, you bring my past up, you bring something I did wrong up, it's always like on your mouth. Everything I do, you refer to that. Then you are teaching me not to tell you things about me in the future. So whatever you do with that communication also is very pivotal. People should feel that they can trust you to communicate. I am broke, and I shouldn't be ashamed about it. I'm a man. I mean, and mommy, I can tell you the number of times that I was very honest with my wife about something I needed. There are a couple of times where maybe there's a flash sale online. You know, those of us in the digital space, you need to buy something. And at that particular moment, you don't have money on a particular card. But because those banks are not connected, if you have to transfer, it might probably take time and then all of that. I need money. So I just call her. I'll be like, oh, babe, can you maybe send me like 5,000 or something? She won't even ask me what it is. I just like, oh, can you send 5,000? I'm using it to do this. I'm using it to do that. I'm using it to do this. So she knows what I'm using the money for. At that material moment, I don't have the money. But maybe it's a flash sale, so you have like 30 minutes for the sale to end. I can't get up, drive all the way to ATM, go and withdraw money, put it on another card. And like, it's too much. I'm not embarrassed to take that money from her, knowing that, of course, the next day or something, I'm just going to transfer it to her. But a lot of guys sometimes struggle, that cultural thing. A guy shouldn't look vulnerable. A guy shouldn't look that you are dependent on the woman. A guy should be the one who is always in charge. So without the ability to communicate all these little things about us, it has its own unintended consequences. And yes, so for me, I think that they've shared a lot of deep insight. But yes, and at the bottom of all of this is communication. One person also mentioned finance, which is also a major problem. Yeah. Where there is the struggle, where people feel that I could have been better somewhere, where people feel that I can get better, I can get value for all that I bring to the table. It also becomes a problem. Especially where the one who doesn't contribute anything, or in most instances in our cultural setting, is the man who is unable to provide, is also abusive, is also irresponsible, is also acting in a very entitled way. I mean, the woman is just asking, wait, I'm the one taking care of this, taking care of you, taking care of all of us, and then you're also disrespecting me. Hey, bruh, and you're being out.